Hi, welcome to a tutorial. So today we are going to be talking about this lovely sock tube that we will be turning into a pair of socks. I put out a question on my Instagram asking if everybody was interested in that, so that is what we are going to do. I already went ahead and worked out all the math, so I will share that with you in the I don't know. Sorry. I will try and figure that out. I will either post it just below the video so you can check it all out, or I might have like a separate PDF document that you can download for ease with like all the instructions. So yeah, we'll try and do something like that. But yeah, just to give you a quick breakdown of what the sock is, it's a 64 stitch sock. I knit a 2x1 rib for about 21 rows. I basically wanted to work all the at least one full color repeat, and then I knit the tube. I just kept knitting until I was back at the end. Actually, I think I just showed you that upside down. Doesn't matter. But yes, just a tube. I knitted on 9-inch circulars, US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle, and I just kept knitting until I ran out of my ball of yarn. Yeah, just I didn't use a whole 100-gram skein. I think it was closer to like 40 grams. So I just kept knitting and knitting and knitting. I have a mini skein for the contrasting toes and heels that we'll be putting in. It came with the colorway, so here we go. All right, so here is our sock tube. It is, like I said, I cast on here and I did 20 rows of ribbing, and I knit straight to the end, knit less ribbing because I didn't have enough for a full color repeat, but I think I'm only short like maybe 5 rows, maybe more like 4 or 3. And then I just cast off with a sewn bind off, and I always use a German twisted cast on. So I then went ahead and actually counted all the stitches in between here, and I ended up at like 100 and sorry, not stitches, rows. I always get those two mixed up. Rows. So I ended up at 186 rows. So I divided that by 2 and got the exact middle. What you can do instead is just fold your socks so that they line up perfectly. So you can see here how I ended up a little short, but yeah, end up perfect. And then you just line them up and then mark your halfway point. So that's what this one is. That is where we will be cutting the sock in half to have 2 socks, and this is where we'll be putting in our toes. I also just went ahead and counted, well, I figured out my row gauge, and then I did a bunch of my fancy math and figured out exactly where the heel should go. So that's what that is. And it feels wrong, but we'll count again after we put our toes in. So what you're gonna do is you're going to pick up a row of stitches here and a row of stitches here, just right above that, or okay, I'm not explaining this very well. My apologies. Let's start again. So where the stitch marker is where we're going to be cutting the yarn. And if you're totally okay with it, what you can do is you can just cut and rip out this whole thing to separate your 2 socks, or you can use DPNs or magic loop to pick up those stitches first one below and one above from where we're going to be cutting on both sides, and then cut. It's just a matter of what you're comfortable with, and if you're worried about dropping stitches, which you can very easily just pick up again after. So yes, so I think I'm just going to cut. All right, let's do that. I got my notions pouch here, I've got my scissors, and I am going to go ahead, pull up that stitch marker so it shows the yarn or the loop, and we're just going to snip. We did it! Now I'm going to grab a tapestry needle or whatever I have in my notions pouch here to pull up stitches with, because I don't see a tapestry needle. Oh wait, nope, I got one right here. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and pull out that row of stitches gently, separating the sock or the tube into two. The reason I chose to just snip and pull is because I've had this sitting around for quite a while, so the stitches are pretty much relaxed and in shape. So as you can see, they're not falling apart easily. If you just finished your tube and you're right about to start, I would probably put stitches on DPNs or a magic loop so that I wouldn't lose any. So it is a little tricky pulling out the stitch, making sure, because of the self-striping too, so you're trying to make sure you're not pulling on the wrong strand and then unraveling everything. But yeah, you just go ahead and keep going until you've unraveled everything. Okay, done. I now have split the tube. We've got 2 socks here, almost 2 socks here, and here are the tails from where I pulled out the stitches. And yeah, so now I am going to take my magic loop needles, because that is what I like to knit the toes of the socks on. You are welcome to use whatever you prefer. What is going on here? I feel like I dropped a whole bunch of stitches here. That's okay. There we go. You can always just knit around to the end there. Or the start of the round is around here somewhere. That's okay. I might just knit around anyway after I've reattached. So we're just gonna go ahead and pick up our stitches and make sure we have the same amount on the front and back. And you want to make sure that they line up with your original beginning of round. Or actually, that doesn't even matter, does it? Because it's a tube. There's no heel, so you dictate where the beginning is. So just go ahead and pick up your stitches. If you drop any, you can just go around and knit them back on. That is not a problem. Because you'll want to go back around and check for any twisted stitches anyway. Okay. See, I'm about to drop a stitch right here. Yep, okay, so I'll just pick up the one below it, and then I'll go back around and fix any mistakes. Alright, so like I said, after you've gone around and picked up all your stitches, you are going to check for any mistakes, making sure all your stitches are even, that you've got either 28, 32, or 36 on either needle, and then you will begin working your toe. I'm not going to give you instructions for those because everyone has their preferred toe method, but if you do want a copy of the PDF that I will be putting together for this pattern and for these instructions, then I'll include toe instructions in that. So I will check back with you later after I've knit the toes. See ya!